Well, I wasn't the least bit ready, but here I am. But the really important thing is I remembered to start the broadcast. So that way you don't sit there for that very awkward or very relieving 9 minutes where I don't say anything. And finally somebody says, "Where's Baron?" Who knows? He probably forgot. Well, as Church Nelly says, he's probably just sitting there talking to himself. Ain't that like a friend? You sitting up there thinking you're doing something and they tell people you're talking to yourself. Welcome to Sunday Night Live. The Sunday, well, I don't call it really. It's just Royal Sussex Sunday Live. It's night because had a slow start today. I think I was still kind of exhausted from the new year, I suppose. Have all you squatties recovered from the new year, or as I guess Church Nelly is the one who coined the phrase "the baronets"? Have you all recovered from the new year? Oh, I see some thumbs up out there. Lorna says she's recovered. Hello. Let me see. Well, let me do my greetings then. Why don't we start with that? Okay. Let me make the font a little bigger so I can see. Okay, so Julia Rock, hello. She says she's still walking sideways. Sabrina Dixon, welcome to the chat. And let's see who else here. Hey, Church Nelly, Lonnie Harris, Joseph Berno, welcome. Lucy Wynn, Hyacinth Newell, Diane Hawkins, welcome to the chat. Angela One Love, welcome to the chat. Lonnie Harris, Anna Espinoza, welcome. Oh, there's a new member. I saw that earlier while I was prepping for the chat. Let me see if I can go and find that so I can highlight it. New member. Well, I have to scroll all the way back. It's like I'm looking for my age on one of those phone apps. I have to keep scrolling back in time. Let me see. I haven't even made it out of the 1980s yet. I'm still scrolling. I can't find it. Who's the new member? I saw that earlier. Maybe it just disappeared on me. Aha, found it. Okay, Charlotte Light and Dark, welcome. Thank you for your new membership. Hotel Radio. Okay. Okay, so I think that's the one. All right, Charlotte, thank you for your new membership. I hope I don't let you down. So, okay, I'm going to go all the way back to where I left off. Good evening, everyone, says Simone Black. Welcome to the chat. Joan Commonwealther. Loretta Memphis, welcome. Let's see. Oh, Jessica Foreman. Josie Adesoy. Hope I got that right. Lynn, welcome to the chat. Diana Ware. Gwendolyn Daniels. Tesla Dawkins, welcome. Rosa Roberts, Patty. Let's see. Oh, and of course, Lydia Washington, welcome to the chat. V. Thomas, Carolyn Soares, Felicia Teta, welcome to the chat. And Nubian Queen, hello. Sherry Ware, one of our moderators. Ronnie Vanna is here, welcome to the chat. Dara Edgehill, Martha Harper. I hope that doesn't come out wrong later. Oh, there's that weird imagination of mine. Annie Bullard. Okay, before I get in trouble, let me just get out of here, okay? And Dee Dee, welcome to the chat. Helen Farron, welcome. Levi Hemmings. Levi S. Hemmings. Um, I wonder what the S is for. So good. Levi So Good Hemmings. Okay. Who else? Lorna Brown. Kenneth Doug, welcome. Lindale Scott, howdy. Okay, so let's see here. I want to put a proper background on the screen, so bear with me. Well, there we go. A little red for the new year. That's the Duchess of Sussex's power color, that red. So, well, how could I put this? I never encourage you to go to the tabloids, as this seems to be my work these days, to take in as much information on all things Sussex as possible. I have to go to some pretty dark places sometimes, like watching a Thomas Markle interview and other things. The Daily Fail is one of them. And the reason why this is so important, we don't want to ever give them the clicks, right? But the thing is, the things that they say feed the Sussex hate channels. The things that are said on the Twitter feed the tabloid media, and the tabloid media, and I think that's the right chain of events. They're the ones that feed the information to the hate channels. They give the hate channels the narrative they need to go after the Sussexes. For me to go after people, I don't really need a narrative. I just need them to be themselves. I'm never provoked by a narrative that is other than that person just being themselves. So, okay, so here we go. Now, today, the Daily Mail, they decided to use a two-pronged attack. I'm not even sure it started with the Daily Mail. It may have started someplace else because I saw it in another published thing or whatever. The Sussexes are unhappy with their home. Since they stepped back for royal duty, blah, 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 exaggerate, they're not satisfied with their $14 million. I'm sorry, is it 11 million pound, $14 million mansion with the 16 bathrooms and room for a pony? They're just not satisfied with that. I'm not sure exactly why they decided to go with this story other than the usual clickbait. And inevitably, by this time tomorrow, the hate channels will have run with the story. Now, that bit of information that was not fed to the tabloids by the Twitter or any other, hate media. That actually is just a creation of their own. Like, remember the good old days when they said, well, Kate is going to take Meghan under her wings. Kate is going to show her. Kate is going to show her how it's done. Kate is going to, remember that? Everything was what Kate was going to do for Meghan. Kate is going to do this. Kate is going to do that. Kate is going to hold her hand and walk her through what it means to be a duchess in the British royal family. As if. Instead, the narrative really should have been Meghan is going to teach the Duchess of Cambridge how to talk. Meghan is going to teach the Duchess of Cambridge how to dress for business without looking like some kind of Mary Poppins wannabe. That's what the narrative should have been, not the other way around. But of course, what they were saying was absolutely untrue anyway, because the last thing Kate was going to do was to try to help the Duchess of Sussex in any way possible. The last thing she wanted to do was to stand next to the Duchess of Sussex, because even though Meghan is older, the Duchess of Cambridge is aging rapidly before our eyes. So the idea that the two of them should ever stand together, not to mention the natural poise and grace that the Duchess of Sussex embodies, that was way too much for old Granite and Jazz Hands to comprehend. So to compensate for that lack of grace and elegance and poise and of course confidence, she just uses her hands a lot. And then when that's not enough, she decides to offend everybody by playing 3 or 4 notes on the piano repeatedly, which by the way, I don't know if y'all watch Ivy today. Ivy, I'm gonna have to ban Ivy from this channel because I kind of feel like she's picking up some bad habits from me. That's all I'll say. You'll just have to watch her video that she released today. Of course, she's more subtle about it. I said 3 notes and she says 4, so that's why I said 3 or 4 notes. But so I may have to ban Ivy from this channel because I don't want her to pick up any of my bad habits. It's so beneath her. But oh boy. So yeah, don't forget Ivy has a video out today, and I do recommend you watch it because she definitely dives into some of the behavior, the training, the expectations of the royal family, and I just thought it was intriguing. So I'm going to recommend it at this time. So anyway, I don't even know how I started talking about this. Oh, I was talking about the good old days. And before that, I was speaking. Oh, let me get this person off the screen. I was speaking about how they made up this big story about how the Duchess of Cambridge was going to help the newly minted Duchess of Sussex. Nothing could have been further from the truth. The idea that she would want to be anywhere near her, well, they disabused us of that notion immediately. Anyway, so I'm saying all that to say this. That they have created some narrative that suits them, when the truth is, the things that were going on in that household to undermine the Sussexes for all this time, especially stripping Harry of his titles. I'm convinced that that came from KP, not from the Queen, not even from Charles, but I'm convinced that that came from KP. And the reason why I'm convinced of that is because of exactly what happened. At some point, there became the rival court. You have the court of, the Cambridges with the Mormon Tabernacle Choir back there. And then, of course, you had the Sussexes who otherwise all of the light, all of the popularity seemed to point in their direction, and they couldn't take it. Jazz Hands got jazzier, and then even Will started shaking a hand or two because they were so panicked by the fact that they were trying to create something out of one of the dullest things on 2 feet. They were trying to make her out to be something that she wasn't. And even worse, then you have this one who doesn't really seem to be interested in his job in the first place. And so there lies the problem, the Sussexes' popularity. And so in cahoots with, I don't know, allegedly the Daily Fail, and of course, some of the people in the tabloid media, like this monster right here, and of course, that monster right there. And that's just 2 of them. I mean, there's a whole bunch of them. They all look like some kind of freaky looking puppet show. But those individuals are the ones that help to drive the Sussexes out of the country. Okay, so Prince Harry, stripped of his titles. Remember how they made that big fuss about stripping him of his titles? Okay, so they stripped him of his titles. But now they're saying that Andrew, now they're saying military people want Andrew stripped of his titles. So this whole thing about the $14 million mansion, before that it was the former slave quarters or whatever that shack was that they moved the Sussexes into. It was that, among other things. But after all of that, after saving the Cambridges from the humiliation of whatever it is William has been doing, wait, whatever William has been doing, and the fact that Kate doesn't do anything, not even work for the money she gets. Okay, so they managed to suppress that. The Rose Garden and the Doolittle Duchess, they have suppressed that by throwing the Sussexes out there, right? And they used Harry and Meghan so that they could hide this individual from all the shame he has committed. And the thing is, they never used the Sussexes to help Prince Charles, but they have used the Sussexes again and again to help this one and to help these two people. Well, finally, as Malcolm X says, the chickens have come home to roost, because now they are finally serious about stripping him of his titles. They're finally having the conversation that should have been had a long time ago. You know, it was good enough to strip Harry of his titles for doing nothing but being popular. Why not strip him of his titles for bringing the real shame on the family? You know, it's really interesting how the Queen's decline in health coincides with all of the things coming out in the Maxwell trial. Which, by the way, speaking of which, it was said today that let's see, is this the one? Okay, well, this slide right here, that's the one I wanted to show you in regards to the top army chiefs want toxic Prince Andrew to quit his 9 military roles. Now, this is, you know, the tabloids turning against him, finally, right? And aside from that, then, of course, you have the fact that the Queen has had this sudden decline in health. All of these things are just lining up, not because of the Sussexes, even though they would like you to believe that the Queen's decline in health has everything to do with the Sussexes. Nothing to do with her husband just died. Nothing to do with the shame that her son has brought on the family. No, it's got to be all Sussex all the time. Why? Because that's what sells the papers. But talking about this guy, it doesn't seem to make much of a difference. I got to show you this. This is so funny. This was on Twitter. Man stopped in Windsor Castle. Now, is this the intruder with the crossbow? No, of course not. But I had to read it a couple of times because I wasn't sure. But okay, so it's not the intruder with the crossbow. It's the intruder that is bringing so much stress upon Her Majesty the Queen, the one who possibly had her up all night digging that escape tunnel, which caused her to wrench her back and incapacitate her. So don't you love Twitter? That's a good one, isn't it? I didn't make this. I found this on Twitter. Okay. And then this is the other one I was looking for. U.S. judge delivers double setback to Prince Andrew's abuse case battle. U.S. judge delivers double setback. His lawyers are just trying and trying and trying over and over again to somehow get them to throw the case out. Because I'm going to say this, because the United States courts, not Her Majesty courts, are the ones that are, working on this case, I just don't see how that's going to happen. I don't think they would have gone through all the trouble if they would have thought there was any possible way that the case would be thrown out. This is going through an American court. And boys, the lawyer that Guthrie has, I don't think you guys know much about him, but he's one of those names. He's like Alan Dershowitz, but not that Alan Dershowitz. He has a very solid reputation, but Dershowitz's reputation seems to be one that is rooted in controversy now. But there was a time when he was a highly respected lawyer. Nowadays, he's not so respected. He's been tainted by his association with a lot of people that seem to be in trouble right now. And speaking of in trouble, so is this guy. So they're urging him to just pay out the money, get this off the front pages, because the tabloid press has finally turned their full gaze upon him. Whereas before they were like 45 stories in one day about the Sussexes and maybe 2 about this guy. Well, now it's going to be maybe 30 and 30, whatever the ratio is. But they finally have turned the gaze against him. So he really doesn't have any place to go. He is finally going to have to pay the piper because he's front and center now. There's no place to hide. I'm pretty sure that he hopes that there's some kind of catastrophic event in the family, if you know what I mean, that will finally take the attention off of him. Like, for instance, in this photo, if you guys don't remember the setting for this photo, this was actually the day that they had a memorial service for Prince Philip. And this was the first time that he faced the cameras ever since that train wreck of an interview that he had with the BBC. This is the first time that he put that big, pathetic, fat, sloppy face on the camera to open up his mouth and say something. So, Mary Cat, I see that. I'm looking out the corner of my eye at what you're saying. Oh boy, you all are funny. Okay, so the other, there's been many occasions where he's tried to reform his reputation, but it's not working. Finally, as they say, the calls are coming from inside the house. I never get tired of doing that. But finally, he's going to get his comeuppance. The best thing they could do is pay out. I'm hoping they don't pay. I hope he decides to stay the course and just ride this through, because it will help to hasten the day when it's going to expose so many other things that's going on in that household. I mean, who could imagine that at the end of the year, with everything that had been said and done against the Sussexes, that the attention would no longer focus on Harry and Meghan, but all of the attention would be thrown upon, of course, this person here and Sourpuss. Yeah, this guy. Who would have thought that all of the attention would finally aim in the direction where it belonged? And because of things like this, we were supposed to not notice, because after all, She knows how to play at least 3 or 4 notes on the piano. I say 3, somebody else said 4, but whatever it is, she is the Phantom of Westminster Abbey, and so this absolves her from the past 12 months of doing little or no work because she put together something to celebrate Christmas and to get us to think of her mother as royal, which is why they called it Royal Carol. I'm telling you, that was a bit of a gimmick there. The Royal Carol, Royal Carol. I mean, come on, it's just a matter of time. The other thing that let's see, there he where's those sourpuss? His big event, the earshot. This was supposed to make him look like he's really doing something. Now, remember how fast this went south? Okay, first of all, nobody watched it. And then, second of all, when they went up there to Scotland, all of a sudden there were billboards everywhere calling him a hypocrite. So that's how they ended the year. Now, for the derangers, you can't tell them anything has gone wrong, especially not with Catherine the Great. But the truth is, Catherine the Great, I forgot to mention this, but the top 10 programs for the year, the Christmas Carol was not one of them. This certainly wasn't one of them. And even for the ratings for that night when they had the Christmas Carol, she was just outside of top 10. I mean, there's only so many programs on television, isn't it? The Queen got higher ratings than she did. Everybody got higher ratings than this program. But most importantly, I believe the Queen decided to stick with the BBC rather than throwing a hissy fit and saying, oh no, we don't like that whole thing about the two princes, so we're going to pull out. Good luck, BBC. Well, the BBC really dodged the bullet because the ratings for this was pretty flat, but even the Queen got greater ratings. And the thing is, whatever the Queen says, it's just like a sequel because it's probably something she said the year before. So, with all of that, gosh, I've been talking for almost 30 minutes, haven't I? Let me go to your comments. Wow, I'm looking. There's like over 230 comments that piled up since I started talking. So we can't go back that far, but cookies and cream, you always got something messy. What you got? They need to live stream his court case on YouTube like they did for Meghan. Yeah, I don't think the U.S. federal courts allow that, but it would be really cool. Many shock value headlines to distract from his Andy madness. Let me see. I mean, this Andy madness. It's all Harry and Meghan getting BK. I'm not sure what that means. Is it? I don't know what that means. I'm sorry. Sometimes I draw a blank. Kate is having a bad day this month, so there will be all kinds of clickbait to get Meghan's attention. You know what? I'm so glad you said that. I wasn't quite through talking yet. The other thing, or maybe no, I'm not going to wait because I don't want to forget. Of course, I don't have anything to use as a visual aid for this, but I'll say this. The other thing that the Daily Fail has done, they're talking about Archie's school. Now, that's the one that really, really gets to me. Apparently, they claim to have interviewed other parents, and please do not click on it. There's no there. Excuse me. There's no substance to the story at all. There's no photos to support the story. So please do not let your curiosity get the better of you. They interviewed some parent or two to ask them about the Sussexes. Well, about Archie, you know, so they confirmed the fact that either Harry or Meghan or both picks up Archie from school. They said that the kids don't really care about a prince or a princess unless it's a Disney movie, Well, that makes sense. And then the other thing is that the parents say that Harry appears to be a good dad. I don't think they would include anything about the Duchess. I don't remember seeing that. But anyway, like I said, don't let your curiosity get the better of you. There's nothing to see, there's no photos you haven't seen already. But I'm disturbed by the fact that they are even mentioning the kids. I'm disturbed by that. Now that bothers me. So, okay, with that, now I'm going to take some of your comments. Oh, my days. This is the day Barron invented the name Mitch and Roland. Yeah, actually, I did start the Mitch and Roland with him in that jacket. Guilty. All right. And media don't need to be around people's children at all. Exactly, Loretta. That is so disturbing. Leave the kids out of it. Didn't Dr. Shola defend the Cambridge kids when they made that cartoon? Didn't Dr. Shola defend their children? But they're not going to say anything to defend Archie or Lili. You can count on that. They love when people offend the Sussex children. And when I say they, I am speaking of the institution, but they're not going to say anything. But Dr. Shola, among other people, were like, children are children, hands off. Joseph says, it doesn't take much to get the hate brigade going and their minions clicking and retweeting. Must be a slow hate news day when you got nothing hateful to say, make up something or print platitudes. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's exactly what they're doing. So, a two-pronged attack. Oh, they're not satisfied with their home. And this is what's going on at Archie's school. Now, is this some type of coercion to try to get them to run for it again? I mean, what is going on? Why even mention the house, let alone to say something about Archie? And I hope that somebody's lawyer get involved with that, because that's uncalled for. Say whatever you want to about the parents. They're adults. But leave the children alone. Don't talk about where the kids go to school. And then, of course, they said that the kids were learning. The kids teach the school teaches the kids something like problem solving or how to be tolerant or something like that. Well, I grew up watching Saturday morning cartoons. I watched PBS. Doesn't every kids program teach kids conflict resolution? Doesn't every kids program teach kids to be tolerant? But they tried to make it sound like the school was being woke. But I'm surprised they didn't actually use the term woke. They managed to show some type of restraint. But just keep those kids' names out of your mouth. Don't mention their schools or anything like that. That right there, that upset me. That really, really upset me. Let me see. Wrinkles have so many versions of Meghan made her cry story. You know how to make me smile, don't you? Wrinkles equals lies. That's why she has so many. You know how to make me smile, don't you? Thank you, Nasia. Thank you. Uh, that was so much nonsense. Absolutely. Bodyguards for children too, media stalking. Absolutely. And I don't know if that was some type of way to, you know, settle a score or what the deal is with talking about the Archie school. I mean, it's just there's no. I don't know that anybody has mentioned the Cambridge kids school. I don't know anybody has mentioned them. So why are you talking about Archie's school? Baron, I loved Ivy earlier today, who confirmed and explained all the horrible behavior in the country. Amazingly, the Sussex squad has been calling them out. I watched Ivy too. Thank you, Joan, for saying that. It was a lovely, lovely podcast. Ivy definitely did some deep digging into the situation, and it's worth everybody watching it, so I recommend it. Okay. But they don't do that to the royal children here because they are not allowed to. Well, excuse me. I don't think that they should do that to kids anywhere. I mean, you don't really need a law to stay away from other people's children. I just hope that somehow that, or whoever went to visit that school, that person or persons need to have some kind of restraining order. That's what they need. They need to have some restraining order. I mean, there are laws here that you can't put people like, you know, okay, I'll put it to you like this. I don't want to say who, but there's a certain member of the royal family who would not be allowed to live within a certain amount of distance from a school, if they were ever adequately brought to justice. Okay. So, okay, I got around that, didn't I? Before the worst happened. But you know what I'm trying to say. There's certain people who have visited the Queen's cabin who could not live near a school, or who visited Buckingham Palace and so on. Those people couldn't even live near a school. So we do have some laws, and maybe they need to strengthen those laws or something like that. But they really need to leave those kids alone. The I we all know exactly what the implication was of that story, and it's just enough. I mean, first you say they're not satisfied with their home and they're thinking about moving, and then you say, "Oh, this is the what happens at the kids' school." Are you trying to create some scenario where through whatever time, trouble, and expense they have to move again? Are you trying to get them to hide behind walls and gates? What is what is the purpose of this? I don't understand. What is the purpose of saying these two things on the same day? I just think there has to be some type of meaning there. We all know those clowns have talked to 0 people inside the school, assuming they even know where the child is enrolled presently. Schools would never divulge such info. Well, it's actually like a daycare. It's really a daycare. So let me get that right. I believe it's a daycare, and it's probably only a handful of kids there. Um, if that is exactly what's going on, but yeah, so they talked about what the kids were learning. They said that the other parents said XYZ, one of those kind of situations. But I'm not even gonna worry myself about this too bad, because one thing's for sure. I just don't believe that the Sussexes are going to hide behind gates. I don't think they want that life for themselves, and I do not believe they want that future for their children. And I hope that's not the case. And I think that something needs to be done about this. Something really needs to be done about it. That's exactly why I'm speaking about it right now, because it was disturbing to me. How dare you mention anything about a daycare, school, other parents, and what the other children think? That's just that's very low. Sip of coffee. Hold on. Let's see. Okay. How would they know Harry said that they would not interact with the British tabloids? How would they know Harry said that they would not? I believe that before the Sussexes left Narnia, that they said that they would no longer interact with the British tabloids. It may have been soon after they left, but I believe there was a formal statement that said that, well, you know what? I believe it was the Rota. It may have been the Rota. They may have said the tabloids. But either way, I believe that came directly from the Sussexes that they would no longer interact. And if I'm correct, I believe it was not much longer after that happened, or no, it may have been quite some time after that happened. At any rate, that was when William had his big declaration that he wouldn't talk to Tom Bradby anymore because he could no longer consider him as a reliable person because of his connection to the Sussexes and the fact that he wow, what is in this coffee? I'm just spitting out all kind of information today. This is from Trader Joe's. I better get another can of that. But yeah, I believe that's how William came to that conclusion, was because of the whole thing with the Sussexes and Tom Bradby actually having some type of sympathy or consideration for them. So then all of a sudden he became incandescent with rage and decided that he was not, you know what kind of person he is, a sourpuss, glum. Um, well, you remember the list from yesterday. Just Google sourpuss, and he's all of those things that they mentioned. But yeah, he became incandescent with rage, inconsolable, sourpuss. And he decided that Tom Bradby was no longer a reliable person for him to speak to, even though apparently Tom Bradby had his direct line and all that kind of stuff. And welcome all 695 people. Whenever something is exciting like that, I always had to say, like, Oprah Winfrey. What else would I do? Come on out, Tom Cruise. But anyway, let me look at a couple more of your comments. You can see I'm rather outraged because I have been on a bit of a rant for almost 45 minutes, but I'm just sick of it. Do you hear me? Sick! I'm sick of it. The Unroyal family is behind the story about the Sussex kids. They don't consider those kids part of the Unroyal family. It's all being sanctioned by the Unroyals. Absolutely. Let me see. William's kingship is forever tainted and cursed because he stabbed his own brother in the back, in my opinion. I agree. That's exactly what it was. He has some type of superiority complex, which again, that's why I recommend you watch Ivy on Sussex Global UK. She really digs into the matter, no pun intended, but she really digs into it. She can dig it. That's one sister that can dig it. So I suggest you watch it. Let me see. What's surprising is how people love to hate them. When the haters find something they thought were true to be false, they simply turn to another lie. The Sussex's happiness bothers them. Yes, Ty Fletcher. Yes, they are artists when it comes to just making up stuff, And remember the whole thing about Barack Obama's birthday and how the Sussexes were not invited to try to create this narrative. I mean, they just pulled this right out of their behinds to create this narrative that they have had some kind of fall from favor in the eyes of Americans. They just made it up. They made it up. I was furious. And simultaneously, they're uplifting Aunt McFartlane, whatever his name is. They're uplifting the fact that he's getting married, and what a celebration! What a beautiful wedding! Not a mask in sight. But with the Obamas, with Barack Obama's birthday, the tabloids. Oh God, that ugly thing is still on the screen. I'm sorry. Let me get rid of him. with Barack Obama, they created this big scenario that the cases of people becoming infected in the town of Martha's Vineyard increased. They never said it was because of the birthday party, but they kept this narrative going so that the public, the British public in particular, who has been sold a bill of goods about Brexit, would believe that there was some correlation between all of these tested and vetted people at Obama's birthday party in comparison to the sudden increase in people becoming ill or positive or whatever, infected. They knew exactly what they were doing, and they're very sly at it. They're very good at it. And I hope all of that serves them well when someday that entire house of cards collapse around them. I hope it serves them very well. And I hope that whatever happens, it leaves Lord Nappyhead penniless. I hope he's penniless when it's over with. Yeah, this is not how I wanted to start the new year, but I could tell from yesterday that they were like warming up to the big attacks, And there's not really much to say about the Sussexes because they're just going about their business. And so what do? You try to create this idea that they are some kind of discontentment with their house, and then you want to talk about the kid going to daycare or preschool, whatever it is. That none of that is any of their business. So I am just very, very disturbed by that. But let me take a break from that topic. As you know, we lost one of the pioneers of television, someone who first appeared through the medium of a televised image back in 1939. Months later, television appeared for the first time in the Los Angeles market. That, of course, is Betty White, who recently passed away, as you may know. Friday morning, it was discovered that she passed away peacefully in her sleep, making the ultimate exit of 2021. Excuse me. And so anyway, and even that, the tabloids could not resist quoting. They like to quote people from Twitter or from whatever social media that said if People magazine wouldn't have announced the birthday celebration and had that cover of People magazine, her 100th birthday, that they wouldn't have jinxed her. And I don't mind that people have that conversation with a close friend or family or whatever. But once you put it in a newspaper, once you run it on some, tabloid or something like that, then there are some people who mentally are so fragile that they take that to be a fact. Not an opinion, but it's a fact. Everything on Fox News is a fact. And that's disturbing. Some people have no filter. And for those of you squatties who are watching the hate channels, please stop doing that to yourself. I don't think that anybody necessarily is there looking to injure themselves mentally, but it does. Hey, Sherry, I just noticed you there, Sherry Ware. But it does something to you, whether or not you know it. Try. Delete the entire memory, not the memory, but the history of your YouTube, or go and hit those three dots, find not interested. If you do that often enough, I promise you they will go away. Sean Neil never pops up on my YouTube. That flip side of a nickel, Lady C, never pops up on my YouTube. Never. So I promise you, you keep hitting those three dots, find the one that says not interested, and they will go away. I don't see most of those hate channels. I just never see them. I could go days and sometimes weeks without anything that looks like a hate channel popping up on my phone. It just doesn't happen. Or on my computer. It doesn't happen because I get rid of them before they even get started. So take my advice, hit those three buttons on the side, the one that says not interested, and they will go away. But stop doing that to yourself. Stop hate watching. I mean, we have trolls that hate watching this channel right now. I mean, they have they have a regular date with me so that they could hate watch this channel. And that's fine because that only helps me out. But mentally, they're already gone. I'm just telling you guys, save yourselves. You can rid yourself of that. That Sean Neil, whatever his name is. I can never remember which comes first because I never watch him. I saw him like sometime last summer, I guess. And I'm thinking this is a legitimate news. And he looks like a legitimate news reporter. And what you can't see is him standing there with a selfie stick. He's in a suit, a tie, and a selfie stick, looking like he's reporting for CNN or something. And that's his hook. That's what makes people believe that he's not just there to hate the Sussexes, but he's there to report the gospel. But that's not the case. But he looks very legitimate. But like I said, don't punish yourselves like that. Don't hate watch, or don't hate watch just so you could go to the comments and try to force some narrative on people that they really don't want to hear. They're there to hate, and if you go in there and try to defend the Sussexes, which is admirable, but they don't want to hear that. They've already made up their minds. They believe that Meghan is 55 years old and she keeps lying about her age. They believe that there are no children. They don't think that she was ever pregnant. That was a surrogate. There's a lot of things that they believe that you are not going to convince them otherwise. So why even bother? As you know, and I told you, last week I got curious about, hello, you know who I'm talking about, right? The other channel. I got curious about what he's doing these days. He doesn't do much of anything because the people that were watching him were only watching for Meghan. And once everybody left, once everybody left, he didn't have anybody to watch his channel. Do you understand that? Their people don't watch him to support the royal family because they don't care. There's only a handful of people who cares what Lizzie is doing. There's only a handful of people that care what those two lunatics on the screen. There's only a handful of people. Nobody cares. And Charles and Camilla, nobody cares what they're doing. It's all Sussex all the time. And it's incredible that you can get 100,000 views for hate. But if you said anything positive about Lizzie or Charlie or Duchess Doolittle or Willie Leaks, if you said anything positive about them, nobody would watch it. They're hate watching the hate channels, and that draws a big crowd. And that is really sad that you can get more people to watch to hate the Sussexes instead of getting more people to watch so that you can fawn and love all over the Cambridges. Nobody cares. Nobody's interested. It's like the derangers. If it wasn't to hate Meghan, if it wasn't to hate Harry, they wouldn't have anything to do. They would have nothing to do. And that's why, that's why there's nothing happening on his channel. Nobody watches it. He only built up that channel because of the Sussexes. And once that was over with, and since, God bless him. He decided not to have the obvious hate and hostility channel. Nobody watches them. Oh wow, 712 people. Thank you, everyone. But nobody watches them. So that's that's how I see it. If you think I got any of that wrong, just say so. I'm probably not going to read it, but just say so. But yeah, it's extraordinary that you can get more people to watch to hate than you can get people to watch to love and respect and honor them. I mean, even at Christmas, you can't even get people to watch. The only time the Queen draws a big audience is for Christmas. And maybe that's it. That's just for Christmas. Other than that, there's no big crowds. There's this extraordinary popularity that they said. She has name notoriety, but popularity, that's not the same thing. That doesn't make you popular because you're on the money in several countries. That's not popularity. That's name recognition. But in terms of popularity, nobody is going to go out and buy a can of Coke because the Queen is drinking it. So, that's just a fact. Not to disparage her in any way, but that's just the truth. This whole idea that people are fascinated with the royal family, no, they're fascinated with the soap opera of the good versus evil. Wherever you find the good, wherever you find the evil, that's what people are fascinated with. And so that's why, that's why he has nothing to talk about, because nobody wants to hear him talking about the garden party. Nobody wants to hear him talking about any of that stuff. He might get some ratings, let's say, if the Bidens come to visit. Oh yeah, that's ratings, because it's going to drive the channel to people regardless of the lack of personality from the rest of the family. That'll do it. Good God, I've been talking. Let me go to some comments. I told you I was frustrated. I cannot tell you how frustrated I am right now, but okay. Lady C is bitter, just awful. That makes it worse. Or she is bullied. She was bullied when she was young. She's bullied now. Yeah, they still bully her. That's never going to stop. Have you seen her? Could you imagine that ghostly looking creature walking into a Tesco's and somebody not saying, "What in the world is that?" We can tell you do. Let me see. I'm not trying to be mean, but it seems like you're new to this. You're wasting your time and helping those channels. Absolutely, Dee Dee. Don't help those channels. Do not help them. Yeah, and just think how many of those people that watch those channels, according to the statistics, they're a bunch of angry, middle-aged right-wingers right there in the heartland of the US. That's what drives a lot of the traffic on that channel. And those are the same people that hate Michelle Obama, the same people that hate Hillary Clinton, the same people that hate Jill Biden. Remember that campaign by the tabloids to get Jill Biden to stop using Dr. Jill Biden? Could you imagine? Could you imagine? They want her to stop using Dr. Jill Biden, right? But this is supposed to be the critical thinker of our time. I bet you if she had a doctor's degree of any sort, they wouldn't stop talking about it. But you want Jill Biden, someone who actually got plenty of intelligence, someone who's highly educated, you want her to stop using Dr. Jill Biden, but they would send this person into a classroom full of kids so she could tell them that there's something wrong with their head. There's something wrong with your brain. If your brain, it takes somebody lacking intelligence to think that it's okay to go into a classroom full of kids to talk about a child's brain development. somebody who obviously is one tree short of a hammock themselves. And you and you send her scientifically dressed to go into a classroom to tell the kids that it might be something wrong with their head. And then you wonder why when she walked out, they were like, bye. Of course they said bye. The first thing they're trying to figure out is, why is you even here? Who sent you? Who sent you here to talk to us? I mean, the kids are not going to say that. They're far too polite. I'll say it, though. So Dr. Joyce Jazz Hands go to a school to try to tell the kids what's wrong with their head, which just goes to show something. She's better at talking about kids than she is talking to kids. I mean, have you seen some of the reactions of the children that she has tried to connect with? They always start looking out the window, looking down the street, looking down at their shoelaces. They want to talk to anybody but her because, number one, they can't understand her. They cannot understand her. You send her to a classroom where kids are trying to learn to speak, and you send somebody who can barely form a sentence in there to tell them, not only am I here to tell you something wrong with your head, but this is also a photo op too. I have to make sure that by December 31st, people realize that I have done some work. That's exactly what happened. And of course, there's a name for it. We all found that out. It's called the keening season, because Kate is keen to show that she's actually earning some money. She's actually is earning her keep. But if I remember, the statistic was she only worked about 255 hours from the year. And if you think that's unfair to count the work hours of the royals when they are actually at an event, think of it like this. A flight attendant doesn't get paid until the door of the plane is closed. Until its wheels up, flight attendants don't get paid. And once the wheels are down, that cuts off their pay. They're not paid unless the plane is in the air. So the fact that the royals are only given credit for the hours that they are at an event, I find that incredibly fair. That's very fair. So to say, oh, well, away from the cameras, she ain't doing nothing away from the cameras. None of them are. None of them are doing anything away from the cameras. They're not doing anything. If doing jazz hands or playing a piano horribly is doing work, I need that job. I told you I was frustrated. Let me take a drink of water. So, where was I? Oh, let me get her off the screen. I'm about sick of her. Sick of her. Okay. So, I'll go to some comments. And then I have to acknowledge something that happened today. Oh, there we go. Donna Black, welcome to the chat. I read that they count Zoom. You're right, Donna. Absolutely, that was work. The Zoom calls where she mumbled into the lens, that was work. Can you believe that? That was work. Phone calls and even their wedding was counted as an engagement. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? People who commute long distances for work cannot count those hours, but she gets to count a Zoom call. So, yeah, that's incredible. Thank you for pointing that out, Donna. I almost forgot about that. You took a water break, and I just took a grilled cheese sandwich break. Ooh, that sounds like a winner. Let me see. Baron, leave her alone. She'll be in Las Vegas soon for her for her residency playing that piano. Oh, I would love that. I would love that. The incomparable Kate Middleton. What? What? Are you saying thank you? Yes. Oh boy, let's see. Arnold Sanders, that woman took over for Hugo doesn't like Harry and Meghan ripping off people that donate to the channel. Yeah, well, I can only say this. I don't watch it and I don't have a subscription to that channel any longer and haven't for quite some times. And if I didn't know any better, I would have thought it was Duchess Doolittle because if you remember when she first started, you could barely hear her. And now as you know, now she's more audible because I guess and what gets me, do you know what gets me? You guys know I try to read as many comments as possible, right? A lot of these channels, have you noticed that they say, please leave something in the comment? And it's not that they don't ever look at the comments, but the thing is, after like the first 5 minutes, they disappear. They disappear. They don't care what you got to say. They just want to make sure that you stay engaged and make that comment. And after that, they're through. They are done. They're done with you. And, you know, I just want you guys to watch for that. You know, I don't respond a lot, but I do try to leave a heart. And I'm like a couple days behind right now with reading the comments. But those comments are important and very sacred to me. So I try to read as many as possible. And some channels, I'm just saying, they don't ever actually look at the comments. They tell you to do that and they see who's first and then they're gone until the next video. So I think that's and I had to say, in the Sussex squad, most people in the Sussex squad do read as many comments as possible. Now at this point, I'm just like a few subscribers shy of 12,000. So I'm at some point I'll be less able to do that, but you know, at least get past the first 5 people. I'm just saying that's a matter of respect, but you know, you'll see. Uh Boy, how did I get here? You know, I was kind of tired earlier, and I told you, you guys always bring this out of me. Sometimes when I'm just like, oh, I don't know if I got the energy to get through this, then all of a sudden I can't shut up. It's almost as though somebody asked me about Europe. Huh? Huh? It's almost like somebody asked me about Europe. Should I talk about Europe? If you ever want to slow me down, just ask me, have you ever been to Europe? There you go. There's my European vacation eye rolls. But I have, and if you ever need any advice or information about a trip to Europe, I'm the one for you to turn to, as I've been there several times. Rail pass in hand. Boy, that was a Freudian slip. Pants in hand. Rail pass in hand. Okay. Since you guys have been on your best behavior today, I'm going to tell a Rose Nyland joke from well, I guess it's not a joke, but Rose Nyland, of course, Betty White, you know, occasionally she was good at giving some of those zingers right back to the other girls. And let me find let me find another photo of Betty White because Betty is still very much on my mind, and we are definitely going to miss her. Suzanne Nivens, Betty, Rose Nyland, among other characters that she played. Well, anyway, there was an episode where they were cleaning up, and Blanche says, I just really hate cleaning up after a party. You know what I really hate about cleaning up after a party? and um, Rose says, "Finding your underwear in the big pile." So yeah, sometimes Rose Nyland could she could dish it out to the girls, and it was always extra funny because of the fact that you're not expecting that from Rose Nyland. But yeah, so there was a few episodes when Betty White was able to really show her range when it comes to playing the ditzy blonde compared to, I guess showing elements of the character that she was on the Mary Tyler Moore show. And it's so funny too that almost any given day I may watch Golden Girls clips on YouTube, on Facebook, and uh, honestly, the morning that we got the news about Betty White, I had just watched another Golden Girls clip, actually, quite a few of them. The best of back in St. Olaf, the best of um, back in Sicily. So, yeah, so Betty White has meant a lot to me for a long time, as Rue McClanahan and B. Arthur. I just watched another documentary about B. Arthur today, so that's what I do with my time. Um, okay, so let me look at some comments. I only meant to go an hour today, and I have been on quite the rant, and I'm going to take another water break. Okay. Okay. Oh, did you like that one, Diane? I'm sorry. Oh, not me. That's for Diane. Okay. Let me see. This is the first time in my life that I've watched the press and an island gaslight a couple to uplift another. Yeah. Yeah. It is really disgusting. It is absolutely disgusting, the way the Sussexes have been treated. And it's a real shame because um, I used to look at the BBC years ago as being a real, I guess, honest news source, that they were, very fair and impartial and very balanced, only to find out that they seem to be um, really there to as an extension of the royal family's press office. Relevant and timeless. Mention her name and people smile. Hollywood was happy to honor her and gave her a standing ovation. They don't do that much anymore. Yeah, yeah, they don't. Speaking of standing ovations, um, didn't I see like where the Cambridges went to the BAFTA Awards and it was like so quiet you can hear a rat pee on cotton? Didn't I see that somewhere? It was just like so quiet, and I'm just gonna say I don't think that the Cambridges are gonna go to the BAFTAs much in the future. They shouldn't really be there at all, and I think there's quite a few people who look at them and wonder why do they even bother to show up. But I think William is like a patron or something like that. But which is really confusing because even at being a prince of the realm, he's not even good at that. So he has absolutely no acting ability. He can't even act like a human being most days. It's so boring. It's a joke. No amount of bigging up can change the fact that they are drier than unbuttered toast. Thank you, Agnes. I love that. Let me see. Okay. Oh, 666 people. Gosh, I just lost over 40 people. Was it something I said? Oh, that's okay. I don't care. Um, let's see here. Would Harry and Meghan let Archie go to school with this COVID surge right now? Um, you know, I could see Archie going to like a daycare or something like that, only in that interacting with other children. And mind you, when they say daycare, I don't think that there's a large group. And maybe these are people that have been vetted with families that have had the vaccine or whatever. I mean, it may be a very controlled group of people, um, and their families, a controlled group of, whatever. And of course, as far as a daycare, there might be, 2, 3 people working. So, I mean, I could see that. I mean, because certainly nobody wants their kids to be so sheltered that it infects, that it affects their development. So, yeah, I could see the kids going to school. And one of the things they said is that Archie was learning Spanish. Well, everybody in Southern California wants their kids to learn Spanish. A lot of people hire housekeepers or, the au pairs or nannies because they want their kids to know Spanish, or they may want their kids to know Mandarin or whatever. So I believe that Archie is going to have an incredible education, but I think it's going to be a very relaxed California style education. So I could believe that certain things are happening for him, but I just don't believe that it should be in a tabloid. Church Nellie wants to go to St. Olaf. Back in St. Olaf, we had a pig named Broomhilda. Oh boy. I love the one where Blanche was speaking St. Olaf, or speaking, naming some of the dishes that Rose usually talks about. Rose said, I'm going to make a traditional Scandinavian welcoming snack. Really? What is it, Rose? Cheese and crackers. Oh, really, Rose? You mean to tell me it's not eggs and a skinskabluten or whatever she said? Oh boy. Now I just want to purge watch, but there's going to be a lot of traffic drawn to the Golden Girls all over media, so that's really cool. It was a great show, and they deserve to get a lot of eyes on their work. So, you guys, I think I am going to close this out soon. It has been a pleasure. I'm so sorry, you guys. I haven't read more of your comments. I've just been sitting here going on and on and on because I was incredibly frustrated. So I'm going to go through some comments, and then, of course, finally, we'll let someone have the last word. Okay. TCC Son, welcome to the chat. Question, Royal Sussex. In the prenup, there must be something about weight gain. Look at Kate and remember Diana's weight. Even in Spencer, they showed them weighing themselves for Christmas break. Well, I don't know that there's actually a prenup. I mean, I could imagine that there's something, but I mean, they do have some type of marriage contract, but I've never actually heard prenup before. But whatever is going on, when one of the men in that family tires of a woman, um, you know, one of the worst things that they could ever go through is not the fact that they're losing money, is the fact that once they are removed from that family, they have absolutely no clout whatsoever. There's nothing worse than being kicked out of that family for any woman who has ever joined that family. That's why Sarah Tosuck Ferguson hangs on. But yeah, there would definitely be some type of financial settlement. But I mean, when you think about how much money Princess Diana has received from her divorce, it was a lot of money, but it was only a fraction of what that family is worth. I mean, that was just like that was lunch money for them. Let's see. Gosh, I'm gonna just go all the way down to the last one. Harry and Meghan's kids will be really smart. They will be doing something besides waving their hands. Absolutely. I think they're going to have a great education. Will be kind, loving human beings, just like their parents. Yeah, there was nothing in that article in the fail that you couldn't have just set up and speculated about and sound absolutely legitimate saying it. I mean, there was nothing there except for the fact that they were speaking of a Sussex child in the first place. The tabloids will never stop, but now everyone knows their lying game, and if it gets serious, Miss Alfia, the Sussex's lawyer, is ready. Yeah, Fatima. Yeah, absolutely. That's why I said I'm hoping that there is some type of, you know, letter from the attorney's office or something like that, and or maybe taking it a little further if they if it's possible or if they feel like it's necessary because just leave those kids alone. Signing off tonight. Good night, Nashia Daniels. Let me see. I'm signing off tonight. Thank you, Baron. Have a wonderful week. Squatties, much love to you all. Well, thank you and have a great night and Happy New Year to you again. Okay, I'm going to follow her cue soon. Let me see. Greetings, Barons and Squatties. This is probably old news, but Andy Cohen, Anderson Cooper, and Leslie Jordan all agree on CNN New Year's Eve that Meghan was silenced. Yeah, I mean, it's for me old news, new news. It bears saying again and again because the we have to remind people what they've been through just to make sure that the tabloids or that the men in gray suits, Kensington Palace, whoever, that they never ever think that we're not paying attention or that we're going to stop talking about it. As a matter of fact, if it wasn't for the squatties, would we even have the year ending with people speculating about Williams' relations? No, that was a squad that did that. That was a squad. They were, um, I guess, what ignited the fire was when that whatever his name is said that stuff about the intruder, and that just set off a chain of events. And what happened? It all fell in Williams' lap. So yeah, I said we keep talking about everything, so that'll keep them from being so careless. I'm gonna do it. I'm late to the party tonight, but I feel like I missed. And oh boy, faith, hope, love. I have been on quite some rant tonight. Some parts of it, I don't even remember what I said, but I'm sure it was important. It was one of those kind of situations. I'm sorry I started so late, you guys, but I was exhausted from the new year, and I've been sleeping late every day. And next week, I really do want to go back to doing some edits and take a step away from the lives every day. I love the live chats, but I'm missing my edits. I was having fun with that, and they were, you know, I really prefer the edits and doing the live chats. This is very engaging and everything, but yeah, I have to take a break from doing the lives. Good evening. Let me see. Okay, Baron did not start latest. Oh, are you on the West Coast? Are you on the West Coast or Mountain Time? Yeah, it's not that late. Hello, Ivy here. As a matter of fact, I'm so glad you said that. Let me see if I can find Ivy's what do you call it? Her logo for her channel so that I can share it with you guys in case you don't know what it looks like. Because Ivy hit on some amazing points today. And one of the reasons why I had so much to say today is because I listened to Ivy earlier. So I think you guys should go directly to the source. Hello, Ivy here. I never get tired of saying that. Hello, Ivy here. So, what am I looking for? See if I can find Ivy's logo to share with you guys. And whatever that music is that Ivy has at the beginning of her show, I just love that. I'm usually sitting in the chair, like, kind of rocking it out. Boom, 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 boom. I love that. Oh my goodness. I got to purge myself of some of these photos. I have a gazillion of them, and it's really getting to that point. Okay. So this is Sussex Global UK. Actually, I think her logo may have changed a bit from this one, but you can get the general idea. Sussex Global UK with Ivy. uh, let me see. Well, okay, so we're going to round this out at exactly 1 hour and 30 minutes. Yeah. Okay. I like round numbers. Okay, so he is cruel and just wished to humiliate her when the kids are teenagers. Wait and see. That family keeps repeating their mistakes. Yeah, he's a very cruel person. I don't even have to ask who. I know who you're talking about. He's very, very cruel. William is so full of himself, and he's a cruel individual. Let me see. Oh, okay. Before I go, I have to do this. Someone passed away today. The lady on the left side there, in case you don't recognize her, her name is Maxine McNair, last living parent of a child killed in Birmingham church bombing, dies at 93. And this was actually it was in Alabama. I guess it's their newspaper, but it was in alabama.com, al.com. Anyway, Maxine McNair, the last living parent of any of the children killed in 1963 bombing of Birmingham 16th Street Baptist Church, died Sunday at age 93. McNair's daughter, Denise McNair, died in the bombing alongside Addie Mae Collins, Carol Rosamond, Robertson. Okay, Carol Rosamond Robertson, and Cynthia Dion Wesley. The case went unsolved for years. 3 members of the Ku Klux Klan were eventually convicted, the first in 1977 and 2 more in 2001. McNair worked as a teacher for 33 years in the Birmingham public school system. Her daughter, Lisa McNair, said she changed many lives through education and left a lasting legacy in the students she touched. So, anyway, that happened today. She died at age 93. So, I just wanted to make sure I shared that with you all. And does anybody have any thoughts about that or any other final thoughts before we go? Okay. Absolutely. Yeah, 93. She lived a long and good life, I hope. I feel kind of bad for Sarah Ferguson. She made a lot of stupid mistakes, but I don't think she was vile like many others in the royal family. Yeah, she was hanging on for, a lot of reasons for her daughters and all that kind of stuff, but I don't think she was a vile, vicious person. And that first time that she went on Oprah Winfrey, it's amazing how so much of what she mentioned sound exactly like Harry and Meghan's interview with Oprah in certain ways, but not completely. Let me see. Andy and Fergie will get married if they think she has info that is damaging to Andy's case. If they're not already married. If they're not already married. So, okay. All right, you guys. Oh, Queen Doria and Diana. Yes, Church Nelly. Thank you. I've been on such a rant today. We want to make sure we show our love and respect for our two queens, Diana, and of course, our other queen, Doria. Thank you for that. We want to make sure we always share our love and respect for two very important women that helped shape the Sussexes to what they are today. So thank you for that, Church Nelly. All right, you guys. Last word. Last word. Let me see who gets the last word. Okay, I think this is it. Beverly McCaskill says, "Good night, all. Stay safe. Wear your mask. Stay hydrated, and no bad energy. And thank you for watching Royal Sussex."